Yo, this is the real deal. Y'all, what's good?
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, sounds like
How do
nothing
you
is
do?
good. Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Look, man, it's a nice evening. Just want to relax, be at peace.
Yeah, peace. Okay, I feel you.
Welcome to 98.7, the real deal. We have smooth jams and all of the easy breezy listening needs.
I dig it. Are we 98.7? Was that the?
Why is it always 98.7? Okay, yeah. But here's the thing: it's always 98.7. It's always 98. It's like 98.5, 98.7, 98.6. It's always 98. Dude, what's the other numbers?
I wonder if it's because it's frequency based, right? So
is that what the frequency is?
That's what I was wondering, if the 98.7 is the frequency.
The frequency.
And so
it could be.
And so because I remember growing up and they did smooth jazz. The 98.7.
Oh, really?
But that, yes, but it's different because I had the same thing in Flint, but it was 96.5. No, it's 96.5 here. It was 98.5. Other place else. It's different. I just remember because I said it one time and everybody was looking at me like, yo, that's not the right number. You are a poser. I'm like, I'm not a poser. This is what it is. Believe me.
Yeah, I think it's the frequency. I mean, I guess we could just look it up really quick, but
we're not gonna look it up. It's not that important. That's not what's important.
The frequency.
Nobody cares about it. Dang, everyone else got snacks. I feel all left out. Should be getting something to munch on. What are the snacks I want?
I'm doing
You never had to worry about snacks.
Thin Oreos.
You never had a mouth, so.
Huh?
I
said you didn't have a mouth before, so you didn't have to worry about snacks.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Okay. Yep. I was just a disembodied voice, which I actually preferred, honestly. I preferred it. It was nice. It was a nice way to live. You know, being a ghost, A1.
You like thin Oreos? The thin Oreos?
I do because they're crunchy.
Did you know?
No,
I was going to say, do you know, like, they have done studies that there's no way to predict how to twist the Oreo open and have it be like what side it's on or even. There's science. They have committed lots of studies to it. No answer. They can't figure it out. They don't understand. No one understands. It's life's great mystery right there.
That's what it should be.
No. There's an answer to everything.
No, the answer is freeze it. The answer is put it in the freezer and then do it.
I can't cyberbully you when I see your face. It's not as much fun.
Perfectly fine with it. If that's all it took for you to stop being mean to me, I would have put my face on here a long time ago. I would be like, Allie, please don't. I don't want this. It hurts. Please.
Well, now you know.
I just want to live, Allie. Don't.
And now you can.
I can live in 4K.
8.7.
Actually, I don't even know if this is getting out in 4K. I should probably investigate that. Oh, well, whatever. Probably not. But anyway, hey.
Yo.
Thin Oreos.
Yeah, thin Oreos. And thin, I almost said Reese cup, and then I was like, no, that's what I was trying to say. Like, my brain was like, you don't mean Reese cup. And then I was like, no, I don't mean Reese cup. But then I did mean Reese cup.
I've never seen thin Reese cups before.
Yeah, they sell them. They sell them as like an actual in a bag, like a big bag, and you can buy thin. Reese cups.
like just little chips where you just put your hand and there's just.
Yeah. Now this is my question.
I feel like that just feels weird.
Is there the same amount of Oreos inside of thin Oreos in an Oreo container?
No, the Oreo it's
so in the
different.
thin Oreos, in the thin Oreo container, it has fewer Oreos inside.
I don't think it has fewer cookies, but it's a lot less because the wafers are thinner.
You
should pick up the thin Oreo container
You gotta weigh it.
and look at how many grams is on the inside, and then we'll have to go to the store and see what a regular Oreo container has.
We have to weigh it. We have to weigh it. That's the only trade.
24 grams of thin Oreos on the inside, and then you grab a regular container. It's like 24 grams of regular Oreos, and then you find out that you just eat more thin Oreos in a serving instead.
Why would you say that?
I'm sorry.
It's not necessarily me eating more Oreos. So hold on. It's not necessarily eating more Oreos. You could just be eating more Oreo cookies instead of cream.
That's true. Which one do you think has more sugar in it? Oreo or the cream?
The cream.
You think so?
The cream definitely has more. The cream is literally entirely sugar. Like they actually have to put something else. Yeah, that's what. Cream doesn't have to be sugar, but it's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, but it's like butter. You know, it's like
butters.
It's like.
I don't think Oreo use buttercream. Is that a buttercream? I don't think.
No,
Oreo
they don't use buttercream. Because they're vegan. You're right.
Yeah, they use
Oreos are vegan.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That
you know that?
Is not logical.
That's why they're American. Oh my god!
How many? How many necks did I break this time?
My body is in shock from how fast you whipped this back. That segue just snapped my neck.
How many necks did I break this time?
It hurts. I'm gonna call a doctor tomorrow.
I feel like we should have like a Krillin counter where we just like each time we do a hardcore segue.
Oh god.
Okay, so our topic today is logic versus common sense.
Huh.
And as they say, common sense ain't so common. So, here's my first question. Which one is better in general?
To me, they're the same, but I understand that that's not true for everyone.
Okay. Why are they the same to you?
It is common sense to choose the logical route. To me, is how I feel, and any other thought process outside of that is confusing to me, and I just sit there and I just be like, oh, okay, this is not good.
Common sense is to choose a logical route. I guess let's define logic, because communication major. What is our definition of logic? Allie, you got
we have to do the definition of common sense.
Sure.
Because in order to decide which one's better, we need to know what they are.
Sure.
That is true.
So, wait, what did you ask me? What is common sense or what is logic?
What is logic?
Logic, to me, seems like deductive reasoning. Like, that's what logic is to me. Like, okay, here's the variables, and based on the information I have, I can figure out the best way to solve something.
You're pretty good. Reasoning. Can you say conductive reasoning?
Deductive
reasoning.
Deducing. Like Sherlock Holmes.
Hop on the Google A really quick. The Google
now, who's gonna be Watson?
The Google A says that logic is reasoning conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity.
School right there just showed up and was like, wait a minute.
I kept wanting to say viality, and I was like, viality is...
3 syllables. Oh, God.
That is not the right word. I was like, what's going on, bro? Like, let's take it back. Take it back.
Okay. So, yeah, and I can get that, because I was going to add on to Allie's thing, or logic means more than just deducing things. It's about putting everything in a process. It's saying that A is this, B is this. If A and B is this, then C must be this. It's that connective throughway that has to be like done through. So, for example, when you go into like coding and stuff like that, you have like logic gates.
Right.
which are basically the rules for how this thing works. Like, and that is kind of what is the logic, how the rule for it.
Conducted or assessed according to strict principles. Okay, maybe I should look at what validity means specifically.
It's like making sure something's valid or true. Like, how true is it?
The quality of course, here we go. The quality of being logical. Uh-oh.
That's not circle reasoning. Let's go.
The state of
Everything
being
makes sense if I reference myself.
the state of being legal or officially binding or acceptable.
So, the one thing I wanted to add to is that the whole thing of A plus B equals C, logic dictate that A must be true, B must be true, and if A and B are true, then C is true. If B is not true, then C cannot be true. And that thought process is logic.
Okay, what's common sense?
I would say common sense is an agreed upon principle. So
common sense are the things you know without having to do like the deduction. Like I feel like common sense is like the knowledge you're born with, whereas logic like
socially
what you
taught.
Over time. Yeah, social
nurture, nature, yeah, whatever. Information you gather by being a person or a thing.
The Google says common sense is good sense and sound judgment in practical matters. Mm-hmm.
That's more like a wisdom type of statement.
Okay, so I have an interesting story. Oh no, I'm gonna save my interesting story.
Oh, now where are we supposed to go now? What are you just came in here and interrupted. I have a story, and now you're taking the story away from me. What am I supposed to do now?
I know.
Just sit here, leave me wanting, desiring, without any way.
Well, we didn't answer my question. Which one is better? Common sense or logic? So you said that common sense for you is choosing the logical choice.
Yes.
And when when you're in your brain, when you're saying I'm choosing the logical choice, what denotes logic? Like, what denotes it being the logical choice? Like, are you saying the most correct or the most in favor of your well-being or the most best for the situation?
The most thing to achieve the goal. Okay. So typically when you'll say logical, I'll make a logical choice. Ooh, starting to rub off on me. I'll have like a goal I want to change. There's like, I want to achieve C. What are the things that I need to do to achieve C? The things I need to do to achieve C are the logical choices I have to make. Because any choice that doesn't forward me to C is not a logical choice. I should not choose it.
Okay, Allie.
Now, you were trying to say something before, Allie, yeah.
I like, of course, I totally disagree with you.
That is so funny. Because in my head, I was like, I wonder if she's going to disagree or what she's going to disagree about.
It's okay.
The only reason I say this is because I constantly feel like in my life, I'm like learning what common sense is. Mm-hmm. Like, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
Like something happens and it's like, oh yeah, like of course you would do it this way, and I'm like, I would have never thought to do it this way, and that's the way that like people do it, and like that's the easy thing. But for logic, I don't know. That's like something you learn, I guess. Like that's what I would learn in school. Like they don't exist together for me.
I think what you said, Daquan, might be the best when you said that. Yeah, I don't think that logic and common sense go together like you mentioned. However, I do like that you said logic is goal oriented. Like I think I do agree with that. Like if you're using logic, you're trying to get to a specific goal. However, if you're using common sense, it's not you're not goal oriented. You're trying to use your own judgment to make the best or the most sound decision, which isn't necessarily goal oriented. It's just,
I mean, that inherently is a goal. Like, the thing is, to make the most sound decision is a goal.
yeah.
So,
but what I'm saying is that,
but
this is what I'm saying. Hold on,
saying,
before we move. What I'm saying is, when you make a logical decision, your brain is trying to achieve a goal. When you're making a common sense decision, your brain is not trying to achieve a goal. Yes, there's a goal, but what I'm saying is your brain isn't thinking like, I need to achieve this goal. Your brain is trying to make a sound decision, and probably in the process trying to relieve as much stress and
it's running on autopilot.
Yeah,
that's the whole.
Yeah, essentially.
I don't have to
like,
think
what's
about
gonna
it,
get me to
happens.
survive to the next moment, and you're not actually thinking about a specific goal. Yes, there is a goal, but you're not thinking about a goal. I think logic involves thinking about a goal.
I can understand that point, but I would probably typically agree. The point I wanted to bring up, though, is how about common sense changing. So, if I were to ask you, like, hey, put up a phone to your ear, I do this, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys would do it too, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you wanted to show I'm on the phone, or like hand symbol,
I would do this.
That is, no, you would not do that. You would just already know where I was going. I don't. Don't lie to me. Don't deceive me.
I would do this. I would be like,
yeah.
Hello?
But yeah, kids nowadays, they don't do this anymore. They do that. Because when you're on the phone, you're on a smartphone. It's a tablet. It's not a hook anymore. So
yeah, that's
common sense. Yeah, and it changed. To me, it changed because the facts of the times changed.
Mm-hmm. Society
changed.
Because
society changed, and society changed the basic parts of what would make sense. Same way. Okay, so I was actually watching a video the other day about how in like fantasy novels and like sci-fi novels and stuff like that, the invention of cell phones changed how people solve problems, story-wise. A lot of stories used to be about how people can't get in contact with each other because, this person's over here, the only way I can do it is like send a letter or do stuff like that. And like that would be a central point of conflict for a story. Versus now where if you don't have the ability to contact someone at a moment's notice, you feel uncomfortable about it. Like, if you wanted to call someone and they didn't pick up, it's not like, oh, okay, whatever. It's like, yo, are they okay? What's going on? Why weren't they able to answer me? Versus a majority of human history, that was just the norm. Like, right. If you lived not in my immediate area, who knows what you're doing? And that's another form of like common sense, and how it affects kind of thing. So I guess I would have to say you're kind of right. Common sense isn't inherently logic.
Yeah, but I think that I think you making it subjective works. Like you saying that common sense for you is logic. Yeah. I think that works for you because that's how your brain works. That's how my brain works too.
Yeah. Hi, friend. How are you? You know that we appreciate you, and you are such a wonderful addition to both of our lives. Mm-hmm. And your differences is what makes us admire you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was very kind. Very kind words. Maybe we should have talked about kindness today.
No. We don't want. We want to listen. If you want us to pivot, we can. But
no, I was just kidding.
I would figure we have more stuff to talk about logic and common sense. I actually do want to hear Ali.
Yeah, I want to hear Ali. If you, what thoughts do you have
about logic versus common sense?
Sure.
Yes.
I don't really have.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for having a great what?
Great. And you know what's crazy? I read it at the exact same time. I just wasn't going to say anything.
Oh.
I'm also wearing socks that say motherfucking girl power on them. So it's my derogatory clothing.
It's a mood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Look.
For my return to the podcast. It's
nice. Welcome back. It's okay. Look.
Clothing night.
Look, you had a message and we received it.
Great.
I thought that's what it said, but I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, so kind of like what I was saying before of like common sense stuff, like sometimes I feel like I'm really like I have to question like am I like really dumb? Like how am I existing? Like why didn't I like figure out that like that's the common sense thing to do for this? And sometimes I feel like it's because we are so like technologically advanced that we don't know like the root of a lot of how things are done. So because I have that like generational gap of like my parents almost, or even like my grandparents, like things that should be that are common sense to them are just definitely not to me.
Wow. Sorry,
and
I'm like
I
just
constantly
throwing.
feel like,
I don't
how am I? Yeah, like how am I existing, and how do I not know that? Yeah.
So that's actually a really cool point, and the reason it's really cool, I would have to really dig for this article. But it talked about how people get dumber, and not dumber, but like smarts dumber as technology progresses. So like as technology progresses, people get less. It's not like. It's
informed about how the technology works.
Yes, so not like intuitive, like you're not getting more stupid, but your ability to understand how the technology works goes down as technology progresses and gets more integrated. And so,
yes,
you know, like for instance, when we were at a time as humans where we needed a hammer and all we had was a rock. You just mashed the rock into the thing that you needed to hammer to get it open. But then once we got hammers, you didn't need rocks anymore. But then once we got, I don't know, I was trying to think of what the next thing would be. Once we got like tools, you probably didn't know how to, like once you could go to the store and buy a tool, you didn't know how to create a hammer besides just getting a rock. Like, you probably be like, how do you actually, like, you have to drill a hole in a rock? How do you shave the rock
I feel like
down?
that's a weird analogy. I feel
yeah,
like
it's not the greatest analogy, but like, but what I'm saying is that if I asked you to create a hammer, you might know how to make one, but the average person will be like, how do you create a hammer?
I feel like the average person can make a hammer. I feel like an average person
can make a hammer?
I can't melt steel. I can't carve wood. Like,
see, and even that's a good point, because I didn't say whether it was steel or it was
I'm pretty sure if you could figure it out to tie a rock to a stick, that's a hammer.
But you have to find the right.
When you go back to like how hammers work, yeah, you can figure it out.
Think about this.
You'll get there.
You know those really nice.
You're not gonna make the most perfectly balanced hammer that just sits there, has optimal swinging angles or none of that stuff. No, but you'll be able to make a hammer.
You know those really nice like woven baskets. And I always think to myself, I wonder if that's gonna be like a lost art form eventually. Not like I'm sure people will still know how to do it, but like I'm sure, like I don't think people will know how to just grab a basket and weave it.
I mean, you can.
There's people on TikTok that do that, and it's like part of this huge like crunchy community on TikTok. And I'm I'm almost obsessed with all these videos of like, here's how you can a bunch of food, and it's like survival based stuff, kind of like if there's an apocalypse, but also
it's not really survival. It's like
so good to know
history stuff.
I'm
so much practical stuff. Yeah, I watch the same type of stuff too, but let me try. Like one of the things I did. Okay, so something I did I made bread. I just sat there, did the whole stuff, made some bread. Why? Because I wanted to make bread, and it's delicious. But one of the things I was gonna bring up besides that is more so, I see what you're saying. I feel like an easier way to get it is to something that is kind of like a black box to people. Like, I feel like people can understand how a telegram works. I think they can understand, like, oh, I click this, it makes a circuit. That electrical circuit sends something through the wire, and it makes a sound on the other end. I feel that a lot of people, if given a little bit of knowledge, can recreate that, right?
No.
It's just a wire. It's just a long wire.
No.
That's all it is.
No.
Right?
Definitely not.
Oh my God. I feel like
I guarantee you can survey 1,000 people and ask them you can give them all. I guarantee you we can run this experiment. If you go to 1,000 people and you give them all the basic technology to send a telegram, and you just don't have it connected, you just have them all in separate pieces and then ask them to put it together so that they can send you a telegram, I guarantee you they'd be like, yeah, they probably jimmy rig some stuff together and not know how to get it to work.
But you know what? I think there will be a lot more people who will be able to figure that out than a phone or even a cell phone or a radio wave.
They probably can figure it out. You give them like a month and a half.
And that's kind of my thing. Like, back to Allie's point, there was like a whole, like, before people used to do that. Like, oh, you know what's a really good one? Mm-hmm. Changing your wheel. Yeah. Taking your wheel off of a car. Yeah. People don't know how to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I learned because my family just taught me, and I was like, ooh. But like, I think I remember I was like on my wheel blew, and I was on the side of an expressway, and so I'm just sitting there changing my tire, and a cop comes by, and he's like, hey, what's good? You doing? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just changing the tire. Wheel blew. He was just like shocked. He was like, oh, you know how to do this? Like, apparently police officers just come and help people when they blow their tire because no one knows how to do it. I didn't know
either. I had no idea that was a thing. I was like, we need to find out all the things that police officers can do.
No. When I was in college, I blew a tire and I sat on the curb for 3 hours, and the police car drove by me, and they drove by me again, and then they stopped to help me. But they didn't change my tire correctly, and I had a huge dent in my car from them fucking it up.
Oh,
because you didn't know. How to.
What it is, they just didn't know how to do it well. They didn't know how to do it well. Because that's what that sounds like. Because another thing I found out, they used to do lockout services. Then they started telling people, no, we're not opening your cars anymore. Because if you lock your keys,
cars are getting stolen.
I don't know. They just told me, we don't do that anymore. Call a locksmith. And I was like, okay. Because I locked my keys in the car. I made a mistake and I needed to get in. I think actually I didn't lock my keys. My battery died and it was electronic locks. It was a sad time. The mom was very emotionally distraught.
Yeah, that's what
I've locked my keys in my car a stupid amount of times.
Yo, okay. Separate story time. The funniest time I ever got locked out of a car, it was I was dating this girl at the time, and we went out for her birthday, and my cousin drove.
Wait, I think you told me this story.
I probably did. It was a great story. When I got out, he thought I hit the car next to him, but I was carrying a cake, and so he got out, rushed out, all freaking out, closed all the doors, left the key in the car with the ignition on. The car's just running, all the doors locked, and we're just sitting there. It's November. No, October. It's October, and we're just sitting there, cold. With an ice cream
the
cake.
car taunting you.
Yep. Calling AAA, hoping they come.
These leather seats,
baby. We literally touched the car for warmth, because the heat was on in the car. The car was really toasty. We just weren't allowed to be in the car.
That is hilarious.
At least the ice cream cake stayed good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it did, and that was a good ice cream cake. That was a good time for me. But yeah. Well, anyway, common sense. Also, can we talk about the saying, common sense is not common?
It's not.
Because when you were talking about, I just feel I don't understand. Sometimes there's things where I just believe like, no, everyone knows this, and no,
I've been let down so many times by that phrase. Like the mindset of, yeah, everybody should think this. And then, like, you find out that there's actual real life people who don't think that. And I'd be like, wow, there's actual real life people who don't think that. I don't know. I think that's so bizarre. Like, I like, it's one of those things that it hurts my brain to think about. Like, the idea that some people just, like, here's a good one. And I don't mean to be political, but there's people who genuinely believe that it's a bad idea to do background checks for firearms. And I was like, but that like without making it political at all, that logically just makes sense. I can't like my thing is like, I can't fathom a reason why, and I've heard people try to give reasons, but I'm like, but that reason doesn't it logically does not make sense in my brain.
I will sit there and say there are certain reasons why you can understand they don't want to, but they're like, yes, sure, that thing will happen, but it's not worth the trade-off. Anyway, not getting political, but it's like, yes, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is just an obvious fact. Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of times where there's a whole bunch of obvious facts or common sense that turns out to not be true. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of the times when, for example, you remember back in the day when we were children and we thought plastic was the best way to save the environment because that's what they told us all the time.
It still is.
Because you had to save the trees. No, it's not.
It is. You use it right.
Yes, but that's conditioning.
Technology, baby.
Like, I don't know. I remember this. I remember going into grocery stores and they being like, no, you have to get the plastic bag instead of the paper bag because the paper bag is cutting down the trees. You have to save the trees.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, when you put it that way, yes, I remember that.
Yes. Well, there was a whole bunch of stuff like that. And now it's funny how we all basically went back to, hey, the paper bag is actually the better bag for you to choose for the environment. The plastic bag is actually the worst thing for the environment.
Actually, the reusable bag is the best thing to use. And they've even done research on what kind of reusable bag is the best bag. Turns out,
but that's
plastic reusable bags are the best bags to use. Not cotton-made basks. Why am I saying bask?
Yeah, that's weird.
Cotton-made bags are the worst. And then plastic bags, like regular throwaway plastic bags, are the second worst in terms of carbon emissions. But the best are plastic-based reusable bags. I was like, that's crazy. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't have guessed that. But that's what the best reusable bag is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, logically, it makes sense once you actually think about it.
Yeah. The thing I was also going to add is, because that's just talking about like carbon usage, because then you get even more complication when you get to, okay, but how do people actually use it? Because now you have to go into the human psychological factor of, are you going to remember to bring this back? Mm-hmm. And the answer is most people don't remember to bring their reusable bags. And so
the article that I seen said that if you use any reusable, so if you use a plastic-based reusable bag 17 times, then you've used less. It was something like you've used it to its fruition. Obviously you could use it way more than that, but if you used it 17 times, then you've officially cut back on the amount of bags that you would have used.
Net zero.
Yeah, so like, yes, like, I guess that's the way you say it. Like, 17 uses is net zero. So like, if you go above that, you're doing better. You use it more than 17 times. I don't know how often you go to the, grocery store with the same plastic bag, but
I use the same 4 bags every time I go. It's like I have to use these 4
because
I can like fit all my groceries in them exactly how I want to.
I'm saying
that's good. Okay. Are you very okay? Let's tangent. How like consistent are you with your grocery purchases? I am very like I'll get certain things the same, but then other times I just go to the grocery store and I just be like, I feel like a willy nilly, and I'm just gonna sit there and grab whatever I feel like and just put it in the bag, see what happens. Let's see what happens. You know.
I used to be that way, but now I'm like much more strict about my grocery trips because I was spending like way too long in the grocery store. And also, it turns out I couldn't make anything with the random stuff I was buying.
No, you could make something. Now, whether or not it's good, probably not. Like, look, sometimes I make some stuff and I was like, man, I thought these things went together. Nope, not at all. But it's okay, look.
Yeah, but I can't be wasting my own time, money, and food like that.
Oh, it's not a waste. I still eat it. Look, I've eaten a lot of things I thought was gross. I was like, oh, that didn't work out.
Let me go ahead and suffer through it just to make sure that I know not to do that again.
Yeah, same time I ate that cake you made. It's like, oh, I guess
that is hilarious. As somebody who does not eat cake, that was a really funny experience.
First off, I'm mad. He doesn't like cake, but continues to make cakes, right? Makes a bad cake and says, hey, Daquan, come over, eat this bad cake with me.
Because I don't eat cake, so I'm automatically, I'm too subjective. I need an objective opinion. Like, I'm going to eat the cake and be like, yeah, it tastes bad. It's supposed to taste bad. It's cake.
Nah,
I needed somebody who
he knew cake wasn't supposed to taste like this. I think he just wanted me to eat the cake. I think he wanted me to join in his misery.
That was so bad.
I got mixed up between baking soda and baking powder.
Yeah, just tastes like baking soda.
It was a really, in my opinion, a very simple mistake. The cake was perfect besides that. Like, that was the only mistake I made.
Song like baking soda. I got baking soda.
Yes.
Yes.
That is.
Baking soda is a very important ingredient depending on what your endeavors are. Yep. The more you know.
And they are interchangeable. You just have to know I think it's like a fourth.
Yeah, you got a ratio.
One is a fourth of the other, but I don't know which one is a fourth of the other. I think baking soda. I think baking powder is a fourth of baking soda. Yeah, that's what I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I made a simple mistake, and I couldn't.
I made that mistake too. They are confusing.
They are confusing. I just don't know why he invited me over to eat bad cake.
Because I don't like cake. Wait, what did you say?
So I don't know why when someone says you want to do this bad thing, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, but the thing is that I didn't know if it was bad or not.
That's okay. So that's how it worked. He was like, "Hey, can you come try this cake? It doesn't. I don't know if it tastes right." And I was like, "Okay." And when he did it, I just assumed it was like, "Oh, it's slightly off or some weird thing." And then I ate it, and I was like, "No, this is." What did you do to this? This is not good. He was like, yeah, I can't figure it out.
Was it like crunchy?
No,
it wasn't crunchy.
I don't even remember.
It wasn't crunchy. It just had that strong baking soda taste. Like,
yeah, it just was bad.
There was no. I can't even remember what kind of cake it was. It just was. There was no flavor besides baking soda. And I remember we were both sitting there like, I know this flavor. I know you use too much of something, but I can't remember what this is.
Yeah.
Because I just don't eat straight baking soda. That's not a thing. But I thought that would be common sense.
I just needed an objective opinion, that's all. And I got one.
I guess.
Although I guess it wasn't that objective, but it was objective.
I mean, I don't know if you...
Matt Bracey, is it time for your story now?
Sure, you got a story?
Yeah. No, you had a story.
Okay, so
Say your story.
So this is my story. My pastor gave me the story. He said that when he was in seminary, he was sitting in class, and there was a girl sitting in the back of the class who was crying, and the teacher said, "Hey, what's the matter?" And she said, "My dog died." And then everybody's like, oh, like that's sad, you know. And so then she was like, but I'm kind of trying to get over it because I know I'll see him again in heaven. And then the teacher said, and this is seminary, so this is Christian. This is a Christian college, basically. And the teacher said, what makes you think you'll see him again in heaven? That's not biblical. And my pastor was like, sure, it's not biblical, but it's also not, like, that's not the time to say you won't see your dog again. Like, and so, like, I think it was like the logic versus common sense. Common sense should have been, oh, that's sad. Like, you know, I hope you feel better, you know, or I'm sure we'll get through this. Man. But instead, he went like the logical route and was like, actually, you won't see your dog. Your dog doesn't have a soul, so you won't see it again ever in eternity.
My youth pastor did the same thing when I was in 8th grade. Our dog died, and I was at youth group crying about it. And then I expected him to say something nice, like he'll be in heaven, and he was like, yeah, no, pets don't have souls, so sorry.
What a savage. That is hilarious.
Look, you have to be honest to children.
He said, rip the Band-Aid off.
No.
Yeah, man. Look, you have to sit there and look, be like, hey.
Okay, so here's the question.
They made 2 movies about it. All dogs go to heaven, bro. They made 2.
And here's the thing. Let's be honest. Were those movies good? No. They were all right.
Okay, the first one is like pretty raunchy for it to be a children's movie. Have you rewatched it? Like, there's a lot.
I haven't rewatched it, but I remember that dog was out in some dirty stuff. That dog was doing grimy. He was like, bro, I'm back. I'm living it up. Vice City, let's go.
He was a low-down, dirty dog.
He was doing whatever he wanted, living in it. Like, honestly, how he made it again.
Would you say that Street Smart is the same sense?
No.
I would.
I wouldn't.
I think it's socially best. I think it's socially based.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I think I see why you disagree, though, Daquan. I do see why you disagree.
Because there's a lot of times where street smarts goes very counter to common sense normally.
Yes.
Where you're like, yes, normally this would be a thing.
But it's because you understand the difference in culture. I think that street smarts is just another, like, if I walk into, like if I'm in Detroit and I get out of my car, I'm taking my keys with me to go to, like, even like in a gas station, like I'm taking my keys into the gas station.
Wait, stop. You don't take your keys with you? You just leave your keys in the car?
No. Why? Because I live around old white people right now. So I leave my car running when I go to the gas station right now. Why? Because everybody leaves their car running when they go to the gas station here.
That makes no sense. First off,
yeah, I know, because it's a different culture. I was pleasantly confused when we first moved here because every time I went to the gas station, if you go in the morning when it's still dark, everybody's car is still on and running, and everybody's inside in line, and I'm like, why do people leave their cars running here? But it's because they feel so safe and secure here, so like they just leave their car running.
Yeah, but to me it's not even that. It's like, why are we wasting gas?
But that's just common sense for them.
Listening to our podcast, Matt Brady does not leave his car running when he's getting gas, so just ignore that.
Nah, man. It's okay. Let the car thieves know. They fine. They already know.
That's fine.
They already know.
Yeah. They gotta find me first.
Look, so back to street smarts versus common sense. Common sense would dictate, like, oh, I heard that if I'm a car thief, this will make sense. No. Car thieves do very specific car thieves things. They know that there's places where it's unlocked and stuff like that. The reason they don't go that way is because there's a higher risk of getting caught. Right. Because those people will have more chances. Right. Thieves steal from people that they know they can steal from. Mm-hmm. Because they know that the chance of them getting caught from it is
they're not
less.
Stupid.
Yeah. And this is what I meant when I was like common sense versus street smart. Like, for example, the whole like. So a very strong way for thieves to break into your house, they'll come and say, "Hey, we're trying to sell you a security system. Can you do all this stuff? Can we look into your house so we can sit there and set this stuff up?" What they're doing is casing your house so they can figure out if your house is one, worth breaking into to steal for, if you have enough valuable stuff, and two, if you do have valuable stuff that they want to steal, what are the exits and what are the different places that they can, leave or come into from.
Points of entry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or points of entry, windows. Where are the rooms located? Where would you might be? What would you do this type of stuff? Because some people are very forthcoming. A lot of like thievery and scamming is all just taking advantage of people's goodwill.
Yeah. I'd be like,
the more you know.
It's okay. I have Google watching my house for me. Thank you.
I have no goodwill.
Good. Look, faith in humanity. All-time lows. It's okay. Don't trust anyone. Everyone's there out to get you.
That's such a like North American way of thinking.
Very North American way of thinking.
I will say it's a Western way of thinking, not specifically North American. I feel very Western societies are very individualistic. It's very much me against everyone else.
But not all Western societies are like that. It really is mostly just American. Not even American.
No.
Mostly just in the United States.
No. A lot of places are like that. A lot of Western countries are like that.
Okay, you say a lot of Western countries. I can think of maybe 2 countries like that.
While America may be the big shining star of it, most European countries follow along that same type of
you're counting European as Western countries.
Yes, they are. What do you? Oh, you thought I'm the only?
I thought you were talking about this side of the planet.
No.
I don't know if I completely agree or disagree. You're right though. There are more European countries like that. I think that's interesting too because
I take it to the mindset of society. Western countries are usually individualistic. They're very much about me and maybe my family unit and doing that stuff. Versus Eastern countries where they're very more community based. They're more about like we are all in this together for the nation or for the thing, whatever they want their community behind, and they are a lot more willing to sacrifice for the community, and in turn more willing to trust the community. So, oh my goodness. So there's this amazing Netflix show about like in Japan, they send these kids on their first errand, and they're like 3, 4, 5 o'clock,
yes,
or 5 years old.
I've seen that.
And they do it on their first time, and so they have a camera crew watching these kids just try to like go down the street to the grocery store and pick up the groceries mom asked for the first time. And you're just sitting there, and I was watching it with some friends of mine. They were just sitting like, oh my God, I can't imagine is doing this. Like, oh, that's just so crazy. And it's like, no, over there, they're not worried because, they'll just say, hey, ask the people, ask this, because that's how society they're set up. Like, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna ask the person, they're gonna help me.
Which is so funny. I guarantee somebody knew enough about both culture in the United States and culture in Japan to pitch that show, to do it in Japan and have Americans watch it. Because I was like, it wouldn't make sense for Japanese to watch it.
It would?
It wouldn't.
SNL.
Yeah, SNL did a skit on it. That junk was so funny. It was the boyfriend instead of the kid. He couldn't do it.
Why is that so real? Yeah. Have you seen that skit, Jaquan? The SNL one?
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's basically the same thing with the kid.
On like an errand, but the boyfriend like can't even get like a bag of onions. He'll come back with like a bag of oranges or something, and it's like he's 27 years old and he can't even figure out how to get to the grocery store to get a bag of onions. Like, we're breaking up.
Back to common sense, because that blows my mind. Like, there's a lot, and maybe I'm not typical, but like when people are like, oh yeah, when I went to college and like people didn't know how to do their laundry, I'm like, yo, I've been doing my laundry since I was like 10. Like,
that is fascinating.
Like, what are you doing? Can't. When he's like, it's whole heart. I'm like, bro, it's not.
I can do it now.
I'm happy you can do it now. But like, that's the, and like I said, I could be abnormal because I've started to learn. Like,
it might be cultural though.
It might be culture though, because like when I was 10 years old, I went to a school with uniform. I went to a private school, so I would be like doing my like uniforms laundry, and then I would like iron my like school clothes every day and do all that stuff. And like I've known how to like I've been self-sufficient for a very long time, and so when I see other people who aren't, I'm just like, bro, how'd you make it? Like, how did you not die by now? I assume that like you couldn't figure out how to do this. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I feel the same way about cooking, where it's like, no, like, I just assume that everyone knows how to cook at least something. Like, if you don't, how do you live? Like, what do you do?
Get real creative.
Yeah.
My aunt always says that the world takes care of the baby of the family.
Are you the baby in the family?
Oh no,
I am.
I'm the oldest.
Me too.
Yeah, I know.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means exactly what I said it means. We can tell that you're the oldest.
I don't think people can tell that I'm the oldest.
I can't tell that you're the oldest. I can only tell that Daquan's the oldest.
What what am I doing that makes that like?
I can tell you right now, the baby of the family was not ironing their uniform at 10 years old.
I don't think he had to wear a uniform.
I was about to say, did Cruz even have to wear one?
Nah, I wasn't gonna say his name, but whatever. No, I don't even think so. He had the ability to choose clothes, which I'm happy for him, because wearing a school uniform is not fun.
No.
I don't know if you guys had to wear uniforms. It's not fun.
I had to wear a uniform at one point. My little sister had to wear a uniform at one point. All the rest of my siblings didn't have to wear uniforms.
Nah, man. This is why to this day I don't wear ties anymore, because I had to wear a tie like every day for like most of my life. I'm done. I don't need to.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I like my neck to be free. So nice, so wonderful. But anyway, yeah. But logic versus common sense. Logic makes sense all the time. Logic is great. I love it.
Final points, Allie.
Final points. I think we might have lost Allie.
I think she froze. Or she might have just been staring at your face again.
Oh no, am I still frozen?
Yeah.
A little bit, yes. It's okay. It's a nice.
Am I still frozen?
Yeah.
Yep,
we just assume that
we're
you're in deep thought and like your words are actually just being transplanted straight into our brains.
It's okay. Awkward. Final thoughts, Bracy.
Final thoughts. I think that people like us who use logic as common sense, I think we have an advantage because we can enter a situation and analyze its culture logically to make the best common sense decision. But because it's goal oriented, it's also logical.
Okay. Allie, are you with us? Yeah, I can see those eye movements.
Yeah. I've been listening this whole time.
I know, but I want to know if I can sit there and see you move in real time. Yes, we can hear you. Everything's great. We're enjoying your presence.
My final thoughts are that we should all read Common Sense by Thomas Paine. That was
okay.
So book club is what you're saying?
I've never read it, so hopefully.
Book club? Oh my gosh. Should we do a book club? I would do a book club.
Sure. I can't promise I'd read it, but
oh my god, you trash. Why? Come on, just do the book club. Just do the book club. Come on. We never got a book club.
I didn't say I didn't say that I wouldn't.
We never actually do it. Let's do a book club. Let's finally do it.
I didn't say I wouldn't do it. I said let's do it. I just can't promise I'll read the book.
No, man. know.
Might
I'm
be
already
Spark
in.
Notes. Might
Oh, everybody's bailing. Never mind.
Listen.
All right.
I'm just trying to be the real deal. Ooh!